As a new teacher, it is vital to have a thorough understanding of the dynamics within your classroom. Each classroom is unique with its own set of personalities, strengths, and challenges. Take the time to observe and get to know your students, paying attention to their individual learning styles, behavior patterns, and social dynamics. This knowledge will help you tailor your discipline techniques and create a positive and inclusive learning environment. Welcome to episode 153 of the Teacher Rockstar podcast, a place where tips and strategies critical to the new teacher are discussed. We share the latest educational research and best practices so that the new teacher can be better equipped for a successful classroom experience. I'm your host, Steve Hiles. In today's episode, we're going to talk about establishing effective discipline techniques and creating a positive learning environment. But before we get into today's topic, I have to ask you something. Are you a brand new teacher that just graduated out of college? Would you be interested in having somebody to mentor and guide you as you transition from college into the classroom? Well, if so, stay to the end of this episode and I'm going to provide you a website where you can go to learn more how you can. All right. Also, I want to mention that you could find us on Spotify, Apple, and a host of other podcast platforms, as well as on YouTube. Simply go to the search bar and type in @TeacherRockstar and check us out over there. Okay, let's dive right in. What I want to do is share with you 13 specific things that teachers can do to ensure that they have effective discipline techniques and create a positive learning environment for their students. Okay, number one, and that's establishing clear expectations and classroom rules. Clear expectations and classroom rules are the foundation of effective discipline. As a new teacher, it is important to establish these guidelines from the very beginning. Clearly communicate your expectations regarding behavior, participation, and academic performance to your students. Involve them in the process by discussing and collaboratively creating your classroom rules, which will promote a sense of ownership and accountability. Moving on to number two, and that's consistency and clarity. Consistency and clarity are key when establishing classroom rules. Make sure your rules are easy to understand, specific, and consistent with the values and goals of your classroom. Communicate these rules consistently, both verbally and through visual aids, such as posters or charts. By consistently enforcing these rules, you create a predictable and safe learning environment for your students. Number three, building relationships and rapport. And I can't emphasize this enough. This of and in itself is probably the most important thing that we can do, okay? And that's building positive relationships and rapport with your students is an essential aspect of effective discipline. Take the time to get to know your kids individually, showing genuine interest in their lives, experiences, and aspirations. Foster a classroom culture of respect, empathy, and trust. When students feel valued and understood, they are more likely to engage in positive behavior and respond positively to discipline strategies. Okay, moving on to number four, the power of connection. Connecting with your students on a personal level creates a strong foundation for discipline. Remember, discipline is not about control or punishment, but about guiding students towards responsible and respectful behavior. By establishing meaningful connections, you can better understand their motivations, address underlying issues, and provide appropriate support when needed. Number five, the power of positivity. Research shows that positive reinforcement is much more effective than punishment in promoting long-term behavior change. Create a system that aligns with your students' interests and preferences. By highlighting and celebrating positive behavior, you encourage a classroom culture centered around growth, effort, and positivity. Number six, restorative approaches. In addition to establishing clear expectations and positive reinforcement, restorative approaches offer valuable alternatives to traditional discipline methods. Restorative practices focuses on repairing harm, restoring relationships, and promoting personal responsibility. As a new teacher, consider incorporating restorative approaches into your classroom management toolkit. Okay, number 7, repairing and reconnecting. Restorative approaches encourage students to reflect on their actions, take responsibility for the impact of their behavior, and actively work towards making amends. This approach allows students to develop important social and emotional skills while fostering a sense of community and belonging within the classroom. Moving on to number 8, proactive classroom management strategies. As a new teacher, I want to be clear that it's important to be proactive in managing your classroom to prevent any disciplinary issues before they arise. Okay. Number 9, setting the tone. Setting the tone for a positive learning environment starts from day one. Establish consistent routines and procedures that promote smooth transitions between activities. Create a visually appealing and organized classroom layout that supports student engagement and collaboration. By setting clear expectations and providing structure, you create an environment where students can thrive and focus on their learning. Okay, number 10, effective communication with parents and guardians. Collaboration with parents and guardians is crucial for maintaining a positive learning environment. Okay, now we'll talk about that in just more about that in just a minute. Number 11, the power of collaboration. Now, regularly communicate with your parents and guardians to keep them informed about their child's progress, behavior, and any concerns that may arise. Establish open lines of communication through various channels. It could be emails, phone calls, or parent-teacher conferences. Involve parents in their child's education by sharing strategies for reinforcing positive behavior at home. When teachers and families work together, the support network for students expands, leading to a more cohesive and supportive learning environment. Number 12, self-care and teacher well-being. I know this should go without saying, but as a new teacher, it's easy to become overwhelmed with the demands of the profession. Okay, so bottom line is, teachers must obviously take care of themselves. Okay, and number 13, I'm going to expound on that a little, taking care of yourself. Teaching is a demanding profession that requires a lot of energy, and that goes without saying. Okay, it's essential for teachers to prioritize their own well-being. Establish self-care routines that include activities like exercise, mindfulness, and hobbies. Seek support from colleagues, mentors, or professional networks to share experiences and seek advice. By taking care of yourself, you'll be better equipped to create a positive learning environment for your students. And that, my friend, brings us to the end of today's episode on establishing effective discipline techniques and creating a positive learning environment for teachers. Now, remember, discipline is not a one-size-fits-all approach. I want to be clear about that. It requires continuous reflection, adaptation, and a genuine commitment to the well-being and success of your students. Now, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned if you'd be interested in having somebody with you every step of the way to guide and assist you as you transition into the classroom from college, and that I would provide you with a website to learn more. Well, here it is. Simply go to teacherclassroomresources.com/TRA mentorship. That's teacherclassroomresources.com/TRA mentorship. I want to thank you for listening to the Teacher Rockstar podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hiles. Should you have a topic that you would like me to address on the show, shoot me an email. I personally read every single email that comes in, and I'd love to hear from you. Also, when you get a moment, visit our website and subscribe to my newsletter for the latest educational research and best practices. Go to teacherclassroomresources.com. That's www.teacherclassroomresources.com. And don't forget to subscribe to us at the Teacher Rockstar Podcast. And if you'd like to support us, please feel free to share our podcast with others. Post about it on social media, and if you feel comfortable doing so, leave a rating and review. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks again. We'll see you same time, same place next week. And remember, my friend, you got this.